eyes of its people, and encourage the government to play more of an oversight and standards-setting role. In fact, we have research that suggests the government can enhance its legitimacy with the people by making efforts to strengthen its role in the supervision and quality control of existing services offered by non-state providers. So let's not lose that as we move forward on this development journey. This is good news for the government because it means you don't have to do everything. You don't have to imitate lots of other countries. Somalis have always been entrepreneurial. Somalis have always been innovators. So take advantage of what the history of your last 30 years has given you and use that as you move forward. So as you strengthen your capacity to deliver over time, learn from the private sector, partner with the private sector, and take advantage of what it offers, meeting the needs and desires of your people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ethiopia. Yeah. The mic. Use the mic, please.
His Excellency, Mr. James Wan, Special Representative of Secretary General, United Nations, and all other protocol reservists. Mr. Chairman, as an immediate neighbor which shares thousands of kilometers of border and with people who share various values, it's natural for Ethiopians to think that the development of Somalia is our development. In this connection, the Ethiopian government, while it's investing huge amount of its resources on education and increasing the number of universities from 3 to more than 50 currently, it's not only considering its citizens, but it's giving opportunity to the young people of its neighbors. So in this regard, in recent years, the Ethiopian government is offering scholarship opportunities to Somali leadership, young people, and those who are engaged in teaching in the higher institutions. So this is conducted in 3 phases. The first is on vocational training, which enables Somali youngsters to reconstruct their countries. So they are trained in construction sector, electricity, metalworks, and the like. And the other is the opportunity which is given on first degree and second degree for students who complete grade 12 and those who get institutions. And the third one is capacity building, which is focusing on the leadership, so that they can adequately. Recently, the demand from the Somali government is increasing dramatically. Even though we cannot accept all the requests, the number is increasing from time to time. This year alone, from Muqdisho, we are expecting more than 250 to 300 students, and from the federal states, we are also expecting so many students to enroll in Ethiopian higher institutions. I don't know whether it is from the proximity or because we share the same value. Most of the students, Somali students, prefer to learn in Ethiopian higher institutions. So this is our pleasure. We always welcome our Somali brothers, so the Ethiopian government will continue to provide scholarship opportunities to Somali students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that brings us to UK. Yeah.
Deputy Prime Minister, SRSG, Special Representative, Ministers, colleagues, I will be quick. This is a huge area, and much has been said, which I won't repeat, but I did just want to say 4 things. We join those here in recognising the fundamental importance of human development to the future of this country, and especially the focus on health and education for children, women and girls. The second thing I would say is that we would applaud the poverty focus that we have seen in NDP 9. This is really important and provides the framework to bring much of that thinking together. The third thing I would say is just to build on the comments made by my US counterpart about the importance of the private sector, but to broaden that out a little bit and to say that we have the private sector, NGOs and local level authorities, so this wider space that can help and can play a really important role in bridging the gap between the government and the people and service delivery and those who need it. Let me say two quick final things about the humanitarian situation. We join others in recognising the severity of the situation and noting the importance of closing the financing gap that remains in the humanitarian response plan. And also in noting the importance of the operating environment, not only for humanitarian but for other actors in this space.
Thank you very much, Deputy Prime Minister. Just very brief, I think it's been very interesting to listen to all the discussions here, especially also relating to the issue around the humanitarian situation, around displacement and so on. And I'm very happy to have heard a lot of interventions relating to the need to move towards approaches to the humanitarian situation that addresses the long-term need to build resilience and also approaches to displacement that focus on durable solutions. From the Danish side, we are very happy to support such efforts, both through our humanitarian assistance and through our country program for Somalia. Then just one final comment also on relating to the issues around health, women's situation, sexual and reproductive health and rights and so on. I just want to alert the forum to the fact that next month in Nairobi we have the International Conference on Population and Development Plus 25. It's co-hosted by Kenya and Denmark together with the UNFPA. And the conference is focusing on both celebrating the achievement since the first population conference in Cairo 25 years ago, but also to focus on how to achieve the outstanding objectives of the Cairo program of action. And I would strongly urge the government of Somalia to also be present at very high level at this conference and come with your national commitments. And what would be better than coming with having, for example, adopted the bill on sexual offences, having adopted the bill on FGM, and also having strong promises on further results to be obtained in this area. From the Danish government side, we put a lot of emphasis on this conference and having really high-level representation and ambitious commitments. So we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Anyone else? I think that brings us to the conclusion of social development sector, and we did talk about youth employment and empowerment, durable solutions and IDPs, social services delivery, environment and climate change, universal health coverage, humanitarian principles and human rights, supporting rural population, the humanitarian situation in Somalia, food security and humanitarian response, resilience and humanitarian development nexus, social protection and health, resilience and durable solutions, vulnerable groups and social and human development is 9, but also it's alarming that around 30% of Somali children don't go to school. But we made progress on polio eradication, prevented large-scale and also thank you to Ethiopia and other countries who offer scholarships to Somali youth and population. The importance of laying first of education, health, and other social services sectors, and the Denmark ambassador. So, for the comments and contribution, I commend the role you have played, and this brings us to the social development pillar. Thank you all. Minister Deeq to talk about
Excellencies, this which I'm addressing this afternoon have a Somali history. They are our collective efforts towards reconstructing the Somali state and related institutions of governance, which, as you are aware, collapsed during the protracted civil strife. As is in the case with states that have experienced debilitating conflict, for engagement in fragile states was agreed with the adaptation to fit within the unique Somali circumstances. The local adaptation led to the Somali Compact New Deal, which is the springboard from which subsequent partnership agreements and principles have evolved over time. Although the partnership principles have evolved and metamorphosed, they have tended to remain consistent with and gravitate in and around the vision and aim of the Somali Compact. The vision and mission of the Compact were crystallized into 5 peace and state building goals with 5 cross-cutting issues. The 5 PSGs are inclusive politics, security, justice, economic foundation, and revenue services. The current 4 partnerships areas of focus mirror these PSGs and are therefore a continuum of the Somali Compact to a large extent. The partnership principles have likewise followed in this trend. My colleagues have ably addressed the technical aspect of the math partnership focus areas, namely inclusive politics, economic development, security and justice, social development, as well as highlights of the National Development Plan. Implementation of the focus areas will be guided by a set of mutually agreed principles. These principles are significant in that while the peace building and state building goals identify what should be done, the partnership principles outline how the government and the development partners should work together and to achieve the required development results for our country's progress. The partnership principles are set out in the MAP 2020 and include national ownership, alignment, coordination, transparency, and the use of country system, human rights and gender, and environment and climate change. I will state as this early opportunity that the government is totally focused and committed to the partnership principles, so allow me to elaborate. On Somali ownership and environment. This puts Somalis on the driver's seat and acknowledges the aspiration of our women, men, youth, children, and people with disabilities for development based on our own priorities. This principle underscores the concept of community development and distinct from the development in a community. The former is initiated, driven, and owned by the people people and ensure sustainability. The latter is externally driven and its intended beneficiary are mere specters. In addition to ensuring local ownership and sustainability, the principle provides a mechanism for better consultation and coordination among development partners so as to avoid wasteful duplication and conflicts which arise from it. On the use of a country system, successful aid effectiveness, declaration from Paris to Accra and lastly Busan in South Korea have underscored the virtue and importance of use of country system, particularly in a fragile context. It has been agreed that for aid to be effective, donors need to respect partner country ownership over their own development policies and practices. This means, among other things, using a country-owned administrative system to deliver aid. Decades of development experience show that bypassing country systems and policies weakens a country's ability to determine its own future. There has been gradual improvement in the use of the country system, and the government's priority is to ensure overall accountability and oversight, hence increasing advocacy to use the country system. On the framework for government NGOs, non-state actors are complementary partners to the Somali state. They play both a social accountability role as well as complementing government efforts by expanding government services and authority. NGOs and civil society actors are enablers of citizen civic engagement in governance and development processes. Rights holders understand their rights and duties and have the capacity to hold duty bearers accountable to deliver the social contract as per the Constitution. On human rights and gender, the promotion and protection of human rights and gender equality are both central pillars and the moral compass of our governance and development. As the government commits to uphold these principles across all its work, we know that realizing human rights without realizing gender equality, sustainable peace and development will remain but an illusion. Visibility and accountability framework to deliver a development based on human rights and gender equality is a must. On the environment and climate change, with increased global environmental and climate change challenges which have not spared Somalia, the most vulnerable undergo an even more debilitating experience. In aiming to enhance dignity and resilience of our Somali men, women, youth, children, and people living with disability, we need to further enhance and institutionalize our commitment to human rights and gender equality for all. It is to address this that we commit to establishing a national environmental policy and climate change adaptation and resilience policy. Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of my remark, I stated that the partnership principles have their genesis in the Somali Compact New Deal. There is a need for all of us to retrace the journey of the partnership principles and harvest the best practices in their observance for purposes of replication moving forward. What lesson can we draw from the implementation of the Somali Compact New Deal? From my experience of working on this issue for a number of years, the times when these issues have been most effectively prioritized has been when they have had a dedicated focus. Mainstreaming human rights and gender is essential to all our work, but that alone is not enough. To ensure that there is sufficient opportunity to promote and enhance human rights and gender, we must have a dedicated space which gives us that forum. If we relegate these issues to the periphery of our work, we relegate them to the periphery of our outcomes. If we are fully committed to achieving the goal we have set ourselves, we must provide the tools and the space to do so. On that note, I give you the firm commitment of the federal government of Somalia to work together with its partners in line with these mutually agreed upon principles. We call on all our friends of Somalia to join us in moving forward in shaping a brighter future for all Somali people. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Deba. Let me now call Mr. Jeffrey Bakken, USA, to make some remarks.
Let me check.
Thank you, Excellency, Deputy Prime Minister and Chair. Excellency, SRSG, and Your Excellency, representative of the Chairperson of the African Union. I will attempt to be brief, as the Deputy Prime Minister knows. I always attempt to be brief, and I also know that I'm probably the last person standing between everyone and this afternoon. So, but on behalf of the international community of to the SPF, I'm extremely pleased to be here today to participate in this joint reaffirmation of the principles underlying the new partnership for Somalia agreed to in London in May of 2017. The London conference, as you all know, outlined a vision for Somalia that we all share. It's a future characterized by enduring peace, security, and prosperity. The various commitments we have spent the day discussing represent a set of shared priorities for how to get there. There are important roles for government, federal and member states, the international community, the private sector. As we just discussed, I think in the last session or the one before that, one of Somalia's greatest strengths, and civil society as well. This is really what partnership is all about, each of us doing our part to deliver on shared goals. The mutual accountability framework details what we need to accomplish over the next 15 months. The ninth National Development Plan does it for the medium term, probably the next 4 or 5 years or so. We would like to congratulate the federal government once again, and particularly the Ministry of Planning, for developing a technically sound and inclusive NDP 9. Minister, your people did just a fantastic job. While we wait the final version of the NDP 9 and the joint review of the plan by the IMF and World Bank staff, the drafts we have seen reflect solid efforts to address the core elements of an interim policy reduction strategy paper, as required for decision point under the heavily indebted poor countries debt relief initiative. We see NDP 9 as the aggregate reflection of the Somali people's development priorities, behind which we are committed to aligning our support. More specifically, we are committed to working with the federal government to bring greater shares of development assistance on plan in alignment with the priorities outlined in NDP 9. Some donors also have plans to increase support provided on Treasury. Combined with strong progress towards HIPC decision point and the potential for significant new resources resulting from normalization of Somalia's relationship with the international financial institutions, it is critical that we work together to continue to strengthen the systems of accountability in Somalia, to ensure these resources are put to their best uses. We therefore strongly encourage passage of an external audit bill that conforms to internationally recognized standards of independence. It will strengthen adherence to prudent fiscal management practices and thus support macroeconomic stability and economic growth. We also encourage the federal government to clarify the legal and regulatory framework governing NGOs. NGOs, along with the private sector, are essential partners in the achievement of our shared priorities as service providers and advocates for continued reform progress. They therefore need a clear signal and regulatory framework that protects their constitutional freedoms of association, assembly, and expression for the proper execution of their mandates. Finally, I would like to conclude by welcoming the opportunity His Excellency the Prime Minister Hassan Ali Khaire recently extended to us to hold more regular dialogue with heads of development cooperation. He requested that we work together to determine how development resources can best support the government's reform agenda and thereby enhance the authorities' legitimacy in the eyes of the people. This is precisely the type of conversation we would like to engage in with the Somali government. Both federal and member states, on a regular basis under a more streamlined and strategic aid architecture. And we are committed to working with the government in to reform the aid architecture in ways that serve to motivate progress on our shared priorities, as outlined in the MAF for the near term and the NDP 9 over the medium term. Thank you very much. Mahad Sani.
Thank you very much, Chef. Let me now invite Adan Abdul Mola for interventions. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, in the sessions held earlier today, we have focused on the mutual commitments being made by both the government and its international partners for the next 15 months. Now we turn our attention to how we plan to strengthen our partnership to deliver on these commitments as articulated through the partnership principles. Since the Somali Compact was endorsed in 2013, Somalia has been at the forefront of adapting, applying, and operationalizing international commitments on aid effectiveness to the country context. This latest iteration of the partnership principles continues in this tradition by specifying concrete actions needed to strengthen national ownership, alignment with national priorities, transparency, and the use of country systems. This SPF highlights what is currently quite an elaborate and complex aid architecture in Somalia. The fact that this aid architecture has been functioning for as long as it has is a testament to the level of dedication and coordination and aid effectiveness in the Somali context. However, government and its international partners agree that the aid architecture should be revised and refined to improve both its effectiveness and efficiency going forward. Getting the mechanics of this architecture right will be critical to strengthening the coordination and coherence of our resources and activities across the humanitarian development and peace nexus. Whereas the aid architecture provides the vehicle for our collective engagement, the NDP 9 lays out the roadmap. The UN congratulates the federal government for developing the NDP-9 through a consultative process to address the root causes of poverty, and we look forward to seeing the final version so we can use it to guide our own engagement. When it comes to the use of country systems, I would like to paraphrase a donor colleague who once said, quote, "How can you work towards state building without involving the state itself?" Unquote. The use of country systems is an internationally recognized tool for state building. Through the partnership principles, we are committing to strengthening and making more use of this tool. These commitments require action by both government and partners that include and go beyond use of the power of the purse. We also welcome the commitment and the commitment to develop a mutually agreed on updated plan to gradually increase the use of country systems across the various dimensions, which would replace the previous agreed use of country systems roadmap covering 2017 to 2019. The successful delivery of the commitments highlighted today also depends on the essential contribution of non-governmental organizations and the private sector, who will continue to play a continued role under NDP-9. We must ensure that they are able to carry out their work legally, effectively, and efficiently while protecting the rights and the independence and serve under the rule of law. A key difference in this iteration of the partnership principles is that cross-cutting thematic issues requiring special attention have been included so as to raise their profile and ensure they are addressed across the other thematic areas highlighted today. Upholding human rights standards for all Somalis, for all Somali citizens, and promoting gender equality and equity are critical for peace building, state building, and economic recovery in Somalia. The commitments in the partnership principles on human rights and gender lay out a few key areas for progress, but we need to ensure we are addressing these issues across all the themes we have been discussing here today. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I think we now come to, is there any intervention or comment? If silence amounts, yes, and thank you very much for doing that. We now come to the conclusion of partnership principles and endorsement of the mutual accountability framework. Before I do that, make my comment is I want to give the floor to say a couple of words by Ambassador James as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We've had a long day, but I think a very productive day. We've come to the point, as the Deputy Prime Minister noted, to just affirm our endorsement of the mutual accountability framework, which has been previously circulated and is the basis really for the discussions today. I won't go through it. You've all reviewed it and embraced it. But just to underscore that clearly the mutual accountability framework is only one part of a larger set of documents and commitments that reflect partner engagement in Somalia and Somali commitments. Among those are, of course, the National Development Plan, But there are a number of other commitments that have been made, for example, in the security sector through the transition plan and others made at prior conferences. But I am confident from the discussion around the table today that the elements incorporated in the mutual accountability framework represent the critical must-not-fail priorities for 2020. They are targeted, they are precise. I commend the drafters. We recognize they include, in many cases, very specific timelines and dates for implementation that should be a guide for all of us. And I believe that this 2020 mutual accountability framework has fulfilled our expectations in terms of being a document we can all agree on that will drive forward a very focused set of partner and government engagements over the next 12 to 15 months. So thank you very much, and we're pleased to be able to move forward to adoption.
Very much, Ambassador James, and we really speak about, and thank you, Minister Deeq and Dr. Adam Abdul Mola. We did speak about the partnership principles and touched upon Somalia ownership and alignment, use of country system, framework for governing NGOs, human rights and gender, environment and climate change. We also touched upon the 4 pillars of the government roadmap: inclusive politics, justice and security, economic recovery and social development, and NDP 9, which encapsulates the 4 pillars of the roadmap. And also, Minister Deeq speak about Busan Paris principles and aid effectiveness, and MAF commitment is articulated through the Somali partnership principles. The Somali aid architecture, which currently needs to be revised and revisited, and also the role of the NDP 9, upholding human rights standards and gender equality, and finally the MAF and partnership principles are the accountability framework between Somalia and international community, international partners. And we agree must not fail priorities of 2020. So that finally, let us, I believe we all agree, we announced that we have adopted the partnership principles and MAF for 2019-2020. Thank you all. So thank you. We have endorsed mutual accountability framework and partnership principles. I think we had a long day. I will be very brief. We did not talk about the comments Ambassador Madeira raised, some parts of it, on security agenda. So probably in our conclusion, I will take advantage of using a couple of minutes on revisiting what we have discussed on security and justice reform. We discussed about operations and AMISOM reconfiguration, accelerating security sector reform, electoral security and stabilization of Mogadishu, justice model approved and adopted. And we did talk about actionable intelligence gathering to take operations, consolidating further security gains, especially areas liberated like Berire, Selid, Anole, and Audegle, establishes SNA that has capacity to break down the enemy, accelerating the AMISOM transition and meeting the benchmarks of 2020, and increasing or enhancing the capacity of SNA to hold territory. The Minister of Defense did speak about strengthening our security and justice institutions. We have approved and discussed 69 draft laws and policies are reviewed by the legal drafting team of the Ministry of Justice. And some of the laws are already at the upper house. 3 of them are approved, signed by the President. Establishment of the Council of Security Ministers between FGS and FMS, and that is functioning. And also the Council of Police between federal police and the state police agencies, and that shows the cooperation between FMS and FGS. Reorganizing Ministry of Defense structure and also the command structure of SNA and the appointment of Land Force Commander, strengthening CAS Strand 2 of the security architecture. But also there are three major strengths, major achievements we made, which Ambassador Ben Fender mentioned. Efforts put on fourth generation and the support of EU, Turkey, UK and USA, especially training forces, operations to take land and seize territory, reform of the armed forces being on the payroll and as a fully equipped, establishment of Federal Security Council, revitalizing the tasks of the National Security Council, integration of the Darwish modalities on the SNA in line with the national security architecture. And I have received this note from Ministry of Internal Security, who have mentioned we have so far integrated over 30,000 forces, and we know where they are and how they are deployed. In terms of safety and security, we are all aware due to the government forces, there is a decline of VPIED. I think it's explosives, decline in targets and areas, decline of the perception that the government cannot protect its public. That's very much declined. With all that, for the system is working better. Security integration. This is a note I have received from Ministry of Internal Security. Then we spoke about or mentioned the role of imams and madrasas, enhancing justice sector and agreeing upon justice model, international investment of the justice sector as well, enactment of amnesty law for Al-Shabaab. I think that this point was also raised by Ambassador Ben Fender. Security of elections in 2020, and we have made commitment to establish National Security Committee for 2020-21 with the support also of AMISOM. Security of justice are important elements for state building, implementation of national security architecture agreed in London, newly liberated areas and stabilization plan. And the issue of, I just want to mention, some people face it, especially from this line, political stability. But I want to mention here that President Furmay has created a new political culture in Somalia. And also the Prime Minister, the political stability between the President and the Prime Minister is a new political culture which did not happen before in the past. And that is the same is true as far as federal government and federal member states is concerned. And there is political leadership and political commitment and willingness from both the President and the Prime Minister. And we, the members of the Council of Ministers and the government and also international community should concert our efforts to rally and stand behind the President and the Prime Minister and work with them closely with our 4 priority roadmaps, NDP and priority agendas. Thank you very much all. I believe this meeting was very successful, and thank you very much for your role. Finally, I want to make 3 announcements. There is a dinner tonight offered by our Prime Minister. It starts from 6:30 to 9, and all delegations are invited and welcome.
daawadayaal meel kasta oo aad nagala socotaan halkani waa telefishinka qaranka Soomaaliya waxa kale oo aad nagala socotaan radio Muqdisho codka Jamhuuriyadda Federaalka ah ee Soomaaliya waxaan ku sugannahay madasha uu ka soconayo shirka weyn ee caalamiga ah ee ku saabsan arrimaha Soomaaliya shirkan oo cinwaankiisu yahay Somali Partnership Forum ama madasha shurakada Soomaaliya iyo beesha caalamka iyo dunida kale inteeda kale waxa uu sanadkan ka dhacayaa magaalada Muqdisho ee xarunta wadankeena shirkan isaga ah waxa horay loogu qaban jiray meel ka baxsan wadanka Brussels, Copenhagen iyo dalal kale oo dunida ah waxa badana ka qayb gali jiray madaxda dalka oo safaro u gali jiray wadanka dibadiisa si ay uga qayb galaan waxa looga doodaa loogana niqaashaa arrimaha muhiimka u ah wadanka gaar ahaan arrimaha la xiriira amniga iyo dhaqaalaha iyo koboca dhaqaalaha ee wadanka uu sameeyo iyo waxa la isla qiimeeyaa sida beesha caalamku ay u taageerto Soomaaliya iyo hababka ugu wanaagsan ee taageeradaas ay u fidin karto iyo sida ay dawladda Soomaaliya ugu diyaarsan tahay in la caawiyo habka ay uga soo kabanayso muddo dheer oo wadankeena xasilooni darri ay ka jirtay sidaas darteed ayuu shirkani muhiim u ahaa Soomaaliya oo waqti badan shirar noocan oo kala ah dibadda lagu qabanayay waxa ka duwan wixii hore hadda waa in shirkan isaga ah Somali Partnership Forum ama SPF waxa la yiraahdo lagu qabanayo magaalada Muqdisho shirkan maanta ayuu furmay saaka actually saacadu markay ahayd 10kii barqanimo ilaa hadda waxa socday shirar iyo kulamo iyo debates iyo doodo aan loo kala kicin oo si joogto ah ay uga qayb galayeen wakiiladii iyo dadkii wufuudda ahaa ee ka yimid dunida waxa shirkan ka soo qayb galay dad ka yimid caalamka meelo kala duwan qaramada midoobay wakiilka xogeyaha guud ee qaramada midoobay u qaabilsan Soomaaliya ambassador James Swan ayaa kamid ah dadkii beesha caalamka ka socday halkan yimid waxa sidoo kale goob joog ahaa oo shirkana furay gudoominayna sessionadii iyo fadhiyadii kala duwanaa ee looga dooday arrimaha kala duwan ra'iisul wasaare ku-xigeenka dalka Mahdi Maxamed Guuleed Khadar arrimo dhowr ah iyo qodobo dhowr ah iyo qaybo kala duwan oo muhiim ah ayaa diiradda la saaray waxyaabaha ugu muhiimsanaa ee laga hadlay waxa kamid ahaa arrimaha la xiriira justice reformka ama dib u habeynta iyo hagaajinta arrimaha garsoorka ee wadanka waxyaabaha laga hadlo waxa kamid ah arrimaha security-ga iyo amniga wadanka iyo xaaladda uu hadda ku sugan yahay iyo sida wax looga qaban karo ama loo sii tayeyn karo wasiirada arintaas ay qusayso iyo mas'uuliyiinta xiriirka la leh arrimaha amniga ka shaqeeya gaashaandhigga iyo wasaaradda amniga iyo mas'uuliyiin kale ayaa hadallo ka jeediyay oo kadibna waxa laga galay doodo arintaas ku saabsan waxa sidoo kale khudbad jeediyay wakiilo ka socday wadamada qaarkood oo qaarkoodna ay bixinayeen commentiyo ama faallooyin ka bixinayeen wixii la yiri oo hadaladii la soo jeediyay kuwa kalena ay ka hadlayeen arrimaha la xiriira Soomaaliya iyo progresska iyo horumarka ay ka sameynayso dhinacyo kala duwan iyo xitaa mararka qaarkood la soo hadal qaaday runtii caqabadaha jira iyo sida ugu haboon ee looga gudbi karo gudiyada madaxa bannaan ee wadanka ka jira iyo ururada bulshada rayidka ah oo lagu casuumay halkan iyo business community-ga ama dadka ganacsiga ka shaqeeya ayaa iyaguna halkan lagu casuumay oo yimid oo goobjoog ka ahaa arinta ku saabsan waxa aan rabaa inaan soo dhaweeyo Muxidiin Shaatax oo kamid ah ururada bulshada rayidka ah actually waa gudoomiyaha Sonsa oo ah ururka ay ku midaysan yihiin jilayaasha aan dawliga ahayn ururada bulshada rayidka ah ee koonfurta iyo bartamaha Soomaaliya hadaan khaldanayn soo dhaw Muxidiin maanta shirkan isaga ah muhiimadiisa maxay ahayd qaybtay aad idin kaga qusaysay qodobadii looga hadlay hadii aad dadka la wadaagtid oo aad u dul martid
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم runtii ahaan shirka aad u muhiim u ahaa shirka noocan oo kale ah inta badan dibadda ayaa lagu qaban jiray markii uu warayso Soomaaliya wadanka gudihiisa lagu qabto wuxuu ahaa runtii mid aad maaragta muhiimadiisa u leh fursad badan dad badan inay ka soo qayb galaan oo Soomaali ah oo la dhageysto arrimaha civil society inta badan waa naqoseynayeen laakiin waxyaabaha aad anaga aan diiradda u saaray waxay ahayd social development-ga political arrimaha bulshada ka qaybgalka siyaasadda dhinaca dhaqaalaha dhinaca amniga arrimahaas oo dhan waa naqoseynayeen waana waxyaabaha aan aad uga hadalnay oo anaga naftirkeena aan contribution ka jeedin qoraal iyo mid oo hadalba waxaan isleeyahay runtii contributionkiina haddii la tixgeliyo in wax badan ku kori karaan
maxaad soo jeediseen maxaa ugu muhiimsanaa waxyaabaha aad soo jeediseen oo la wadaagtaan madashan
walahi waxyaabaha soo jeedin waxaa ka mid ahaa ugu muhiimsanaa civil society-ga daannaha waayahan waxaan qabanaynaa doodo ku saabsan arrimaha doorashooyinka iyo dastuurka markaan ka hadlayna arrimaha ka qaybgalka siyaasadda waxyaaba aad ugu hadal waxaa ka mid ahaa sida muhiimadda u tahay in Soomaaliya dastuurkeedu uu dhamaado uu helo dhamaystir dastuur la helo iyo sida ay muhiim u tahay in doorashooyinka soo socda 2021 ay u taabagalaan isla markaana taabagalkooda waxyaabaha keeni karo inay taabagalaan laga sii shaqeeyo sida ay ka mid tahay in la helo maxkamaddii dastuuriga ah oo kala saari lahayd dadkii maaragta isku qabsada doorashooyinka iyo waxyaabihii sharciga doorashooyinka sharci darrada ka soo baxa iyo sidoo kale Human Rights Commission oo aad muhiim u ahaa kaasoo qeexaya in qof walba ay xaq u leedahay inay ka qayb gasho arrimaha siyaasadda iyo doorashooyinkaba waxyaaba kale aan ka hadalno waxaa ka mid ahaa arrimaha security oo kale waxyaaba aad u tagmiixay meelaha hadda liberated oo aad hadda ha in laga sameeyo oo kaliya aan laga sameynin xoog military kaliya laakiinse dhibaatada ka soo gaaraysa dadka deegaanka oo inta badan hadda shabeellada hoose ay u badiyeen dad beeraley ah runtii laga fikiro dhibaatada bini'aadanimo ay soo gaari karto taa oo in ku habboon tahay in ku talagal ballaaran la sameeyo la iskala wada shaqeeyo waxyaaba kale oo guud ahaan ka hadlayeen waxay ahayd in bal arrinta kootada haweenka inay noqoto mid runtii hadal ka baxsan oo dastuurkii lagu qoro inay haweenka laga qaybgeliyo qaybaha kala duwan ee maamulka dowliga
haweenka naftirkoodu way hadleen speech meesha ku lahaayeen
habeenku waa hadleen haweenka civil society way hadleen runtii anaga civil society halka joogay iyo cidii kale ka soo qayb gashay runtii aad ayay uga hadleen arrimahan oo haweenka ah waana arrin muhiim ah oo u baahan in runtii haddii ay suurtagal tahay lagu qoro dastuurka laga baxo hadal laga baxo xuquuqda haweenka u leeyihiin ka qaybgalka siyaasadda iyo kootada ay ku leeyihiin baarlamaanka
waayahay markii aad soo jeediseen arrimihii aad ka hadashay hadda oo siduu ahay la falgalka dadkii ka qayb galay shirka ama haadan mas-uuliyiin dowladeed ama dowladda dadkii ka socday ma la garawsaday soo jeedinadiina ma laydin ballan qaaday in la fulin doono ama wax laga qaban doono
wallahi runtii soo jeedasheen aad loo garawsaday markaan shirkii aan fursad ku helnay madaxda dowladda iyo madaxda hay'adaha caalamiga ah intaba way noogu hambalyeeyeen aragtida aan soo jeedinay waxaan isleeyahay inay wax weyn ka tari doonto ama la tixgelin doono timaado hirgelinta arrimahaas marka laga hadlaayo waxaan rajaynaynaa anaga naftirkeena inaan intaas ugu harin oo hadal kaliya ugu harin aan dabagal ku sameyn doono arrintaas sidii u hirgeli lahayd aan kasii shaqeyn doono maaragta waxyaabihi
aad iyo aad u mahadsan tahay muxdiin shaatax gudoomiyaha soonsa waxa aad ugu mahadsan tahay waqtigaaga waa fasaxan tahay waxaan rabaa inaan haddana soo dhaweeyo oo haddii aan dhaqdhaqaaqyadeenu aysan suitable ahayn raalli ka ahaada waxaa meesha ayaa sidaas u taalla waxaan soo dhaweynayaa xoghayaha guud ee qaramada midoobay wakiilkiisa Soomaaliya James Swan. Welcome Mr. Ambassador to Somali National Television and Radio Mogadishu. I want to ask you, this was a very long day and a lot of discussions have been made here. What was the aim of this meeting, Somali Partnership Forum, and what is the importance of this meeting for the Somali government and for the international community that you are representing, the UN here in Somalia?
Yes, indeed. It has been a long day, but it has been a productive day, and I think we've made substantial progress in terms of moving ahead on some important priorities. Really, the purpose of today's meeting and of follow-on discussions that we will be having is to bring together the international partners and the Somali government and civil society and other organizations to talk about critical priorities that to be achieved over the next 12 to 15 months. So approximately from now until the end of 2020 or early 2021.
So what are the main themes and the main issues that you have been discussing the whole day after this long day? A lot of discussion has been made. What was the main issues that you are focusing on your debates?
A key accomplishment was to confirm what is called the Mutual Accountability Framework. And that document outlines specific objectives in 4 crucial areas: security, inclusive politics, economic
areas that includes the economic growth and the security issues, and also the issue of elections being raised. In your observations and point of idea, do you think that Somalia is making a lot of progress in these areas?
Well, certainly Somalia has made important progress in recent years, and if we look at the situation, say, a decade ago, the improvements are quite dramatic. This group certainly took stock of many of those elements of progress and expressed their appreciation to the government and to key ministers responsible for advances. But really the focus of today is to look forward at what still must be accomplished. Together we want 2020 to be a year of achievement, but getting to that year of achievement means that critical priorities must be addressed. So in security, it means ensuring generation of additional forces for the Somali army that can take on new responsibilities. It also means continuing and resourcing operations against al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
In the inclusive politics arena, it certainly means continuing preparations for elections, completing the electoral code and adopting it before the end of this year, passing the updated political parties law, and moving forward on constitutional reform by the middle of 2020. Those are just examples.
Yeah, and in the arena of the Somali National Army and the achievements they are making in the fight against Al-Shabaab, what's your observations? Do you believe that things are going ahead and a lot of achievements is taking place?
We've seen important progress operationally in Lower Shabelle in recent months, and that has provided a model or an indicator of what could be expanded in the future. We've also seen important security sector reforms in terms of the way the institutions are operating. But again, we're really looking forward at what has to happen next. What has to happen next to expand those operations? What has to happen next to make further improvements in these institutional reforms?
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. James Swan is the xogayaha guud ee qaramada midoobay ee Soomaaliya wakiilkiisa waddanka Soomaaliya ayuu ahaa. Aad iyo aad u mahadsantahay. Thank you. And it was a pleasure for us. Now I also will welcome waxaan sidoo kale soo dhaweyn doonaa safiirka dawladda aan walaalaha nahay ee Turkiga oo isaguna ku sugan halkan kaas oo aan su'aal ka weydiin doono arrimaha la xiriira shirkan. Ambassador Mohammed Yilmaz, if I'm not wrong, welcome to Somali National Television. We are very happy to have you here. What was your observations in this meeting? You were here for very long hours today.
Thank you for this opportunity. I think this meeting was very successful. It's a very important meeting because, there are too many international actors here, and on the other side we have the government, so we need a common understanding to enhance the common understanding. The deliberations today here and tomorrow, I think, will provide us a new framework that in the coming days, in the coming months, we will have a document of engagement with international partners and with the Somali government. As you know, Turkey is a leading donor in Somalia, so we also want to align our priorities with the priorities of Somalia. We have been careful on that issue in the past, but now we have documents, strategic plans prepared by all the ministries and on the government, and so we have more clear picture how to engage with Somali and government and Somali people. That's why this is a very important event and this is very successful. I hope that tomorrow also we will continue our deliberations, and at the end we will have a clear roadmap, map for further steps, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mohammed Yilmaz. This is the Turkish ambassador to Somalia. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. aad iyo aad u mahadsantahay. kaasna wuxuu ahaa safiirka dawladda Soomaaliya ama dalka Soomaaliya u fadhiya waddanka walaalaha aan nahay ee Turkiga, Ambassador Mohammed Yilmaz oo kamid ah mas'uuliyiinta kala duwan ee halkan ku sugan. waxaan soo dhaweynayaa haddana wasiirka dastuurka ee xukuumadda federaalka ee Soomaaliya, Saalax Jamac. waxa uu kamid yahay wasiiradii maanta arrimaha shaqooyinkooda la xiriira doodaha laga yeeshay. wasiir, khudbadaad meesha ka jeedisay arrimaha la xiriira constitutionka iyo meesha uu marayo waana mid kamid ah ajandayaasha aan filayo xataa